Hey everyone, Bob Thibodeau here with your Ask Bob podcast for today. We've been talking about some of the ways podcasters use to increase their download numbers, unethical ways, methods that have mostly been done away with in actual numbers counting because of the IAB methods that have been basically adapted industry-wide. But you still may hear of some of these methods by some more or less unscrupulous people that will try to manipulate and still try to beat the system. The IAB has implemented a series of changes that have become the industry standard in counting downloads. This is to bring almost every podcast hosting platform into compliance with industry accepted standards. It is a way to level the playing field and the reporting field that is reported to advertisers across the country and across the industry, actually. Now, in our last episode, I covered the first two unethical ways that some podcasters have tried to beat the system. Now, stay away from those methods. Trying to change your URL feed and trying to spam your social media accounts, it may give you a few more downloads in the process, but the loss of reputation, it'll far exceed the few additional downloads that you're going to get. Now, in addition, remember now, the industry standard is a download is someone who has listened to your episode for at least 60 seconds or more. So just because someone has received your file into their iTunes or Apple Podcast feed, or you download it and they receive it in the email, that does not mean they listen to the file. And it will not be counted as a download. So spamming all these episodes out to someone is really not going to do you anything good. It's just going to harm your reputation. Today, I'm going to give you two more methods to stay away from. Some podcasters will set their players to have an autoplay on their download. So YouTube videos are a good example of this. This is along the same lines as the spamming on social media I talked about. Every time someone clicks on a link, perhaps they wanted to, the title has got their attention, so they click on it wanting to read the show notes description to see if it's something they want to take the time and listen to. Instead, the download begins. Now, I know personally, if I click on something, I see something start to download, I'm going to stop it because I don't want this download in my computer when I really don't know what it is, okay? Now, if, and this is a big if, the person allows it to play for 60 seconds, it will count as a download. Congratulations, right? But if someone like me clicks on it, they may be a little upset with you because they may feel you're trying to make them download your episode. I do not want anyone to make me download anything to my computer. Okay, some people like me will automatically delete that page, and most of them will never come back. Okay, you've already lost them. You lose potential subscribers and possibly potential future customers, all in an effort to get one more download. Okay, I've seen some podcasters put out a player on every single page on their website and have every single one of them set to automatically begin downloading. Why? Trying to get one more download. Okay, they're thinking, well, if they click off this page and go to this page, it'll start playing. And while they're reading it, maybe they'll just let it play in the background. Again, not likely to happen. Okay, the new AIB rules will not count any of these efforts that you're trying to go through unless the visitor to your website listens for at least 60 seconds. So all you're really doing is spamming a visitor who's trying to find out more information on you or additional information on your podcast or your website or your services. All you're doing is making them mad and driving them away. So instead of impressing a possible subscriber or future client, in actuality, you're running most of them off. So do not use that method. And another method that I see a lot of people trying to use is, well, I'll just increase the number of episodes I publish. Well, yes, this is a valid method. You're not really spamming anyone. You are simply providing more product out there, more episodes for them to listen to. Every episode published could increase your downloads exponentially according to the number of subscribers that you have. For example, if you have 100 subscribers and you publish 4 times per month, one a week, that's 400 downloads, assuming that everyone will listen to every episode for at least 60 seconds, which is not likely, but for an example, you'll see what I'm talking about. Now, if you increase your publication schedule to 5 times per week, Monday to Friday. That would mean 2,000 downloads per month. Wow, that's awesome, right? Wrong. What? What do you mean wrong, Bob? Well, first, as I've covered your publication schedule, I've covered this before. You need to go back and listen to that episode. Your publication schedule should be dependent on the length of each episode. The shorter the episode is, the more frequently you can publish and expect your listeners to listen to all of it, at least the first 60 seconds to have it count as a download. The longer each episode is, listenership drops off drastically. I covered this before in a prior episode, in a prior question. Less than 10 minutes, about 90+% will listen all the way through. 15 to 20 minutes, that drops to 75%, 60%, somewhere in that area. 30 minutes, only about half of the people will actually listen to completion. And if you go an hour, only about 25%, maybe even less, will listen all the way through. So if you have a 30-minute podcast and you're publishing 5 days a week, half the people who click on the link will not listen all the way through to completion. And that number goes down as they continue to see more and more episodes appear for them to listen to. So what may start off initially as 50% may drop to 10% by the time you're publishing all those episodes. So for simplicity figures here, you may have started with 100 people listening to your 15 or 20-minute podcast episode each week. Great. But you may drop that number to 20 people if you increase your publication to 5 times per week. That means all of the work you're putting into researching, preparing, recording, editing, and publishing your additional 16 episodes every month gets you the same number of downloads, maybe just slightly increased a little bit. That's a lot of work for just a couple of extra downloads. Don't you agree? Talk about wasted effort. So now you'll get some of the additional downloads and some additional subscribers, but you may have gotten all those with all of that additional work. And that time could have been better spent nurturing the subscribers you currently have and asking them to share your episode with some of their followers. That would give you the credibility factor going in your favor, and you probably see the same, if not more, downloads and followers. Okay, so don't use that method either. Being ethical in your podcasting reflects well on you. If you try to use unethical means to try and increase your download stats, it just shows your potential listener and possible future customer or client that you are unethical. Who would intentionally want to do business or trust someone who uses underhanded tactics just simply to try and increase their numbers, right? Instead, use some sound, proven, ethical methods of increasing your download numbers, and more importantly, your subscriber numbers. Subscribers represent real people, people who have intentionally made the decision to follow you on your podcast. That is the person who has shown trust in you. Download numbers do not reflect that. And in my next series of questions, I'm going to answer now, how can I increase my download numbers by sharing some tried and true methods that some of the big podcasters employ. These are things that you can also do no matter what level of podcasting you're at. But stay away from worrying too much about your download numbers. It leads to unsavory tactics that they'll always come back to hurt you later. Usually at a time when you need to establish your credibility, especially just starting out. So next time we'll go into some of the ethical ways you can use to increase your downloads. Although it may take longer to do, you will see slower results, but it will be well worth it in the end, in the long run. Okay, your reputation has to be one of ethics. The numbers you'll be able to claim, the numbers you'll see, the numbers you can represent will be accepted. And you will not have to worry about being scammed by unethical people or companies that promise you thousands. They come at you and say, we'll promise you thousands of downloads for $10 or something like that. Stay away from that stuff. Next time, join me as we go over a few ways you can enjoy an increase in your download statistics. Okay, now if you have a question about podcasting, send it along to me. Go to my website, podcast-training.com. Use the contact form. Send me your question. If I use your question on this podcast, I'll send you along a free gift, the $37 Podcasting Made Easy book. If you try and order it through the website, it's a $37 value. I'm going to send it to you absolutely free of charge just for asking me your question. And if I use your question on the air in one of these episodes, I'll give you credit for it and put your contact information down below. So who knows, you may see some increased download numbers just from doing that. So if you want to see increased traffic, Ask Bob. Okay. We'll use your question on the air. Till next time, it's Bob Thibodeau. Keep on talking. You're awesome.